Hi, this is Didi Sanchez, Scrappy Gamer DDS, and this is my easel card tutorial. It's a 4x4 card which opens top, but it has a nice little hinge feature which will allow it to prop itself up like an easel and then become something decorative and sweet and pretty that you can leave out on the desk, the end table, you know, just nice little eye candy. It's not that difficult to make, and you can make a set of 6 with the list of supplies that I'm going to tell you right now. I've been trying to make this video over and over again. Family interruptions and such. I've done 3 sets and haven't got this video done yet, but that's okay. The inspiration, the first one I ever did was this one, and it was the white cardstock with the built-in or built-upon border. I'm a Stampin Up demonstrator and I own Stampin Up products, but I have been a scrapbooker since 2009, and so I have a ton of papers that are not Stampin Up, plain cardstock, and I've become obsessed with making my own backgrounds. So I was doing this and I made several cards, this style, other styles, and was sharing it, and I made a card share video if you want to check that out. But someone asked me on one of the Facebook pages, do I only use white? And I was so curious because I was actually thinking of doing tone on tone this weekend, so that's what I've been doing. So I've done a purple version with the little banner and the little petite petals, flower punches. I've done a green tone on tone, and I was working on the pink tone on tone. And of course, if you know anything about Stampin' Up, you're seeing the pansy punch, the petite petal punch, the flower shop sentiments. This is from the new Bravo set that came out recently. Also, you see this is from the Bravo set. Happy watercolor, the little banner punch set, banner greetings. The You Make Me Happy is from the Happy, no, not the Happy watercolor? Yes, Happy watercolor, as well as this flower. Sorry, I went a little spacey there. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to now do a blue version. So I've cut most of the papers. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need. So here we go. In order to make 6, so you can make 6, you can leave the, you know, the sentiment on each one can be different. I'm making 6 of the same. And what I used was 2 12x12s. So what you're going to do with the 12x12s is you're going to cut them at 4. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That means you're going to have 6 card bases. And that is going to be your foundation, and it'll be folded in such a way. Now, you also are going to have to score this. I don't know if you can see the score lines a little bit, maybe. But when you put the long side at the top of your scoreboard, you're going to score at 4, at 6, and at 8. Sounds weird, but it's what's going to make this hinge work. So that's 2 sheets of 12x12 card paper. Now, you're also going to have a layer that we're calling the matte. So that's this little brownish layer here. So you're going to need a piece of 12x12 for that. Now, the card itself is 4x4. And so this mat is 3 3/4. So 3 3/4, you're going to cut out of another 12x12 sheet. So I did it out of the blue, this darker blue, because I'm trying to use all blues for this card. And you will have a 4-inch sheet, a little bit more left over. And so this will be used to help make the stopper or any kind of embellishment that you want to add to the card. So this is going to go on the side, but you're going to have this amount left over from a 12x12 after you've gotten your 6 mats. Then you're going to need a white cardstock to make not the front but the inset here. And the inset and this first panel are the same size. Which is 3.5 by 3.5, and you can get that from a 8.5 and 11 size cardstock. So you're going to need one that's white, and you're going to be able to cut a 3.5 by 3.5, so strips of 3.5, rotated strips of 3.5, and you'll get your 6 cards. That'll be this. Those will be the inserts for where you can write your messages and, you know, your personal little messages. And I forgot to show you this, but this is the mats. This one's a little bit different than the measurements I gave you because I'm trying another style, but I'm giving you the originals. And then this is the 3.5 by 3.5, which is going to be the background. Now, I didn't stamp this one because I wasn't doing a full background sheet. I'm actually going to stamp the sentiment, and I'm going to add some little baubles from the Happy Watercolor. So you'll see me do one of those. Hopefully I'll get it in a little look how I, you know, want it to, and then I'll just create the whole entire card in a go. So that's pretty much what you need to make this 4x4. 2 sheets of cardstock 12 by 12 for the card base, 1 sheet for all of the mats, 1 sheet that you can make the background, or it could be designer paper and you can just cut it up to make this background, and then white, especially if this cardstock is dark, to make this part here. And then any kind of bling you want to add to it. Okay, so here we go. What I've done is I've already cut, like I said, I've showed you some of these pieces, and I've scored at 4, 6, and 8. So I'm going to work on showing you how to do the prep for this. So you're going to fold on each of your 4 score line, and you're going to fold on the 8 score line. So you're going to create a Z. Let me show you that. So this is that. So this is what you're going to have, this Z. The 6-inch score line is down this middle piece. So what happens is that when you open the card, you want, if you're holding this is the back and this is the front, so when you open the card like this, you want the easel to be formed. So if you bring this mountain up into this divot and it starts to fold, you'll know exactly how you have to now burnish it. So now that I already have the little bend, you can flatten this out, burnish it so it's nice, and then you're going to be able to see the easel. So this is the front, this is the inside, this is where that burnish we just did, but it'll allow for that. So now you see how that, but it's flopping forward. So here's what you have to do. If you can get it to do the flop, then you're good. This portion right here, you need to add some glue. So I'm going to grab a glue, some adhesive, and I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to press my front on here. So now, again, it opens this way. You see the score mark, it's a little flatter, but you have this easel effect and the front doesn't flop. So now I have the basic bones of the card. What I can do now is also add this just to get it out of the way and done. And I'm going to add the white on the inside. So just get a fair amount of adhesive. Now this is 3.5. That's 4-inch square. So we're going to try to space it out nicely with a 1/4 inch or so around the whole entire thing. And then we have that nice little blue and white border. Whoops, too far away. Blue and white border. Sorry for the shadow. My 4th video, I'm still working on setup. So now this is good. This is ready. What I decided to do, might as well do it now, it's not going to hurt, is to take some of that darker blue that's going to be the matte and make this like a little band right here. But I don't want it to be across the whole thing. I wanted it to just be right there. And it'll add a little design element, but I'm also going to raise it. So I'm going to take some pop dots onto this, and just a few, one on each end, and maybe 2 more. Now again, a lot of my stuff here is not Stampin' Up, but the main elements, the elements of beauty, such as the stamps and the sentiments, those are strictly Stampin' Up. So I will give you the names when we get to that. So now I'm just going to position it so that it's shows a little white on both sides. But it's a nice little strip down the edge. Press it down. And so when the card is closed, when you open it, you'll see your sentiment. But then when you need the easel to happen, it'll be able to stop it like this. And you have your stopper. So now it's constructed. We'll put this to the side. Now we're going to play with the front. So I have cut out, these are 3 by 3.5 by 3.5. These are normally 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, but I wanted to play with only having the 2 borders this time. I kind of play on the stripes. So when I mat this way, right, it could be like this, or maybe I'll mat it this way. I don't know which. This looks like it'll blend into each other. So I don't have to decide that right now. I'm working on this, the background. So I have my little stampy paper, and I'm going to use the Bravo set that I just received for getting some subscribers to My Paper Pumpkin kits. And that's another awesome thing that Stampin' Up has. And I've been playing with them, and I just got them today. I've used a couple on some other things, and on this one I'm going to use Hip Hip Hooray. I am a teacher in real life, and a lot of my kids are graduating, so I have this, you know, hip hip, you're out of high school, kind of a deal going around in my head. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to put it on a block, and we're going to stamp the center of each of these with the Hip Hip Hooray. And since I'm in the blue family, I'm going to take the Night of woo! Okay, that was interesting. I'll take the Night of Navy. I'm not going to stop the video. And I'm going to take Night of Navy and ink up the Hip Hip Hooray. Nice. First time, I'm just going to stamp it off a couple times because it's a brand new stamp. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to bring myself as far over as I can and put this guy right in the center. And now I have a Hip Hip Hooray. If I left it just like that, it would be fine. It would be a little blah. So I'm cleaning my stamp off right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little sprinkle around. So I'll put this back later. I'm going to take the little dots from the Happy Watercolor. And I'm going to ink up and just put a little border of dots all around it in the blue, and they can be random and go off the page, on the page a little bit, and you just go around, turn the page a little bit so they're not so symmetrical, but once you have connected the dots you will have a nice little background. This actually came out really, really nice. I like it. I like it a lot. So I'm gonna have to leave all this out because I'm gonna have to make the other 5 because I just can't make one. So now I have my Hip Hip Hooray, and now I have to decide. I think I wanted to go the opposite way, so I'm gonna take my Hip Hip Hooray background. I'm going to adhere my tape. Stampin' Up probably would be using snail if I had it, but since I have so much adhesive, I gotta go through that first. And I have attached it to my mat, and I've attached it this way with the blue down the side. And so now I need to put some adhesive on the mat and take this now to that. So normally this would be 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and I would have a blue border around the entire thing. But I was playing with the idea of having these stripes. It's something that I've seen on the internet and people are talking about. It's kind of on trend. So it actually is 4 inches, which is the side of the card. So I need to match up the edge and give myself even top and bottom like that. There we go. And I have my blue tone easel card. And so you have the basic bones of it, and I hope that you're able to follow along and you can go back and play this again. Don't have a blog yet, sorry. Try to give as many dimensions as I possibly could. If you really want the dimensions again, please leave a comment and email, and I will type them up really quickly and send them to you. It's plain, it's kind of male-ish, I think. It lends itself to be with a more than male. But even a man likes a little bling. So I think we need to add, so I'm going to bring out my box of bling. And I have a ton of micro stuff, mostly. But I'm looking for a page that has some of these plain ones. I also have some that have blue. So I have to stick with the blue because this is about the blue. And we've got some dark and some light. And I think that just to make it a little simpler, I'm going to put just a few. So I have a little pick here, a little pen. Some people use scissors. I don't know. It's up to you, whatever your preference is. And since it's blue and I have two different blues, it's perfect. I'm going to grab one and stick a couple here and there. I could put them on top of the already existing dots, but I think this is a little bit more, so much more bigger, and it's a little more fun to just put them, you know, wherever. And then I'm also going to put probably more of them down here because I need to dress this up. So I'm putting them down. I'm not pressing that hard because I want to be able to make sure the spacing looks good. So this guy's a little bit off. So now I scooch him over and I have blinged that up. So that adds a little something. And I think I want to add some more. I think I wish I had, so you know what, perfect. I'm going to put one back there, so it goofed up a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to do it opposite corner. So I'm going to add a dark blue in here instead. And I'm going to add the light blue on top of that little blotch, which is fine. And then I need another dark blue, but I need one that has fresh sticky. And so I'm going to do that. And that's it. I think this is a completed card. So, closed, you get a hip hip hooray. Good for a male graduation or anything fun that's happening. And then they write your sentiment in there. And then on the little bureau at home, nice little easel card. I hope that, you know, you liked it, and I would love to hear what you have to say. So, remember, crafting, it's fun.